on a night that was supposed to showcase the very best of women's basketball. The game spiraled into controversy. A neck grab, missed whistles, and accusations of corruption left fans stunned. And right at the heart of it all, Sydney Colson and rookie superstar Caitlin Clark, voices rising against what they call blatant referee rigging in the Indiana Fever versus Los Angeles Sparks showdown. This wasn't just another basketball game. This was a battle for fairness, integrity, and the soul of the WNBA, setting the stage. To understand why this moment hit so hard, you have to know the stakes. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation whose arrival set ticket sales skyrocketing, broke viewership records, and ignited a brand new era of WNBA fandom. She wasn't just another player on the court. She was a phenomenon, the Caitlin Clark effect. On the other side, Sydney Colson, a veteran, a leader, and one of the most outspoken voices in the league. Known for her honesty, her fire, and her refusal to let injustice slide. Together, these two would soon become unlikely allies in calling out what so many were already whispering. The referees had gone too far. The inciting incident. It all started with a play that left the basketball world shocked. Fever guard Sophie Cunningham was grabbed by the neck in a scramble. A move that in any other game, at any other level, would have drawn an instant whistle, maybe even an ejection. But here, silence. The referees swallowed their whistles. The crowd roared in disbelief. Commentators hesitated. Players looked around in shock. But the officials carried on as if nothing had happened. The boiling point. Caitlin Clark had already been under the microscope. From hard fouls to missed calls, the rookie's every move seemed to be targeted. And in this game, she'd had enough. Clark's frustration boiled over as she confronted the refs, demanding answers. But the silence continued. No accountability. No explanation. And that's when Sydney Colson stepped in. The veteran guard, never afraid to speak truth to power, went off on the officiating crew. Her message was clear. Enough is enough. These weren't just missed calls. To the players, to the fans, this looked like something far worse, a game being manipulated. Fallout and reactions. The fallout was immediate. Fans erupted online, blasting the referees for what they called one of the most corrupt displays of officiating the WNBA had seen in years. Rigged. Fixed. Protect Caitlin Clark. The hashtag spread like wildfire. Even after the game, the controversy refused to die down. Analysts replayed the footage again and again. Former players chimed in, saying the league had a responsibility to ensure fair play. And once more, the spotlight burned hottest on Caitlin Clark, the rising star who seemed to be bearing the brunt of unfair treatment. The bigger picture. But this wasn't just about one play, one game, or even one season. This was part of a growing storm in the WNBA, a league struggling with the balance between protecting its stars, enforcing its rules, and dealing with an explosion of attention like never before. From hard fouls being upgraded after the fact, to inconsistent calls sparking player outrage, officiating has become one of the most talked about issues in the league. And when the face of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, is at the center of it, the controversy only grows louder. The Caitlin Clark effect. Because this is bigger than just basketball. The Caitlin Clark effect has transformed the WNBA overnight. Sold-out arenas. National headlines. Millions of new fans tuning in. And with all that attention comes responsibility. Responsibility to ensure the game is fair, that its stars are protected, and that the integrity of the league is never questioned. But when referees ignore clear fouls, when players' safety is compromised, and when fans are left questioning if the game is rigged, that responsibility is being tested. The climax. By the final buzzer, the story of the night wasn't the score. It wasn't the highlights. It was the controversy. Sydney Colson and Caitlin Clark, two players from very different paths, united in outrage against officiating they believed had crossed the line. Clark's frustration boiled over. She had been knocked down, shoved, grabbed, and time and again the whistle stayed silent. For a player whose every move is broadcast to millions, the lack of protection was more than just frustrating. It was humiliating. Fans could see it, her teammates could feel it, and the Sparks players themselves looked shocked that play was even allowed to continue. And then came Colson. The veteran guard wasn't just angry. She was defiant. Pointing at the officials, shouting across the hardwood, her voice echoed through the arena. She wasn't just speaking for herself. She was speaking for the entire locker room, for the players who had felt ignored, for the fans who had watched call after call disappear into thin air. The arena turned electric. Boos rained down from the Fever faithful, while chants ripped through the stands, drowning out the final whistle. This wasn't just a protest, it was a rebellion. Commentators struggled to put it into words. Analysts sat in disbelief. On the broadcast, replays rolled again and again, showing elbows to the face, arms grabbing necks, bodies crashing to the floor, and still no whistle. The evidence was undeniable. Something was deeply wrong. Clark, her face red with anger, stormed toward the bench, her teammates rushing to calm her down. Colson had to be restrained, her fiery words filling the air as she demanded accountability. Neither of them cared about fines, suspensions, or league discipline. In that moment, it was about something far greater: respect. And outside the arena, the moment exploded online. Millions of fans shared the clips, dissecting every angle, demanding justice. Within minutes, hashtags calling out the referees were trending nationwide. And at the center of the storm, two women who refused to stay silent, Caitlin Clark and Sydney Colson. Their message echoed through the arena, across social media, and into the heart of the WNBA itself. This cannot continue. If the league wants to grow, if it wants to protect its stars and preserve its credibility, the corruption of officiating cannot be ignored. Resolution. In the end, what happened during the Fever Spark showdown may be remembered as a turning point. A moment when players stood up, when fans demanded better, and when the WNBA faced a simple but powerful question. How do you protect the integrity of the game? Because if the league wants to continue this incredible rise, if it wants to honor the stars who are carrying it into a new era, one truth remains clear. The game must always be bigger than the whistle. Caitlin Clark and Sydney Colson said what millions were already thinking. The WNBA deserves better. And until that happens, the fire of this controversy will only keep burning. Conclusion. So what do you think? Were the refs just having an off night? Or was this game truly rigged against the Fever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the drama shaking up the WNBA, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Because this story is only just beginning.